Good morning, everyone. This is Monday, Easter Monday, April 5th, 2021. And I am coming to talk to you today about our normal different segments. So there's a little bit for everyone. And I think I'd like to start with a story. So I'm going to read to you a short chapter out of Love and Taxes. Which is the book I published, I think, in 2019. And for those of you that may remember some of the previous shows, my husband, Keith, it was originally why I started writing this book, because it was his business stories. And then I decided to make it more fun, and I turned it into Love and Taxes and like putting it together. So it was also like our love story about how we came together. And how did we come together? I was his tax accountant. So Love and Taxes is what I would say when people would say, how did you two meet? So this is on page 112, and this chapter is called Vertical Integration. And under each chapter heading, I put a little quote, kind of like a summary for the chapter, and then one at the end. So for the chapter Vertical Integration, which is a business term, watch and work for magical connections. So I asked Keith, so did you get to meet with Mr. Oppenheimer any other times? Which, for those of you familiar, Oppenheimer is De Beers, South African mining. So Keith was going there for business, for buying for industrial use platinum group metals to be incorporated into making carburetors when they were first, not carburetors, catalytic converters, sorry, for you car guys out there, the catalytic converters that made the fuel exhaust cleaner. So how did they get cleaned up in the 80s? It was through the use of platinum. And there wasn't enough platinum being mined in the world because this was a new technology. So they had to go and find it to be able to do it. So that's what Keith was doing. He was on this adventure around the world trying to get platinum for his company that he worked for. So that was a little preview of the book. So Keith replied to me, well, I know one other time was when we were interested in making a bid for Mallinckrodt. That's when I met Mr. Oppenheimer. I couldn't help interrupting to phonetically sound out this foreign sounding name. Mallinckrodt? Yes, Mallinckrodt. It was a specialty chemical company located in St. Louis, Missouri, that most people probably never heard of. But it did invent the formula for acetaminophen, which you would know as Tylenol. After they formulated the acetaminophen powder, they sold it to McNeil Labs, who then produced and distributed Tylenol. At the time, it was public information that another company, and I just made up a name here, Avon, had approached Mallinckrodt, and they were interested in buying it. Oh wait, no, this is actually Avon. Sorry, that was a different chapter. I forgot it when I wrote this. You mean Avon, the wholesale makeup company? I asked incredulously, and Keith nodded and continued. One of my key principles that I relied upon when I was considering an acquisition was to try to understand the why the company wanted to sell. Very often it was a load of, excuse my French, horseshit. Maybe they wanted to offload bad stuff off of their balance sheet onto someone else, like product liabilities or future pension benefits. You have to be careful about what you buy because it can come back and bite you in the butt. With another smile, Keith continued, we took a look at the possible Mallinckrodt-Engelhard combination, and it was pretty good strategic mix. We did not want to lose out to Avon makeup company. We could have kept looking long and hard to find such a good combination for ourselves. Mallinckrodt had different specialty chemical products than us, quite complementary in fact. They were a good financial mix too. We decided we wanted to be a bidder. Therefore, we had to go and talk to our effective 30% owner, and that was Mr. Oppenheimer in South Africa. We asked him if he would participate at his ownership level if we needed to sell shares to raise more money to make the purchase. So this is back in the 80s before a lot of you were born. And I was a teenager. So my boss and CEO at the time and I presented the case to the Anglo-American board at Harry Oppenheimer's South African headquarters. It was the last item on the agenda before lunch, and we were asked to meet the board members in the chairman's dining room. When we got there, our personal name tags were at each place setting. Harry was sitting at one end of the table, and we were seated on opposite sides of him. Harry came in 15 minutes later and said, "Well, you have your money, so now go win." And we sure tried, but it turned out Avon was willing to pay a stupid price, which is our theme today, buying value. So we decided to back out. Avon bought Mallinckrodt at that inflated price, and it eventually almost bankrupted Avon. They wanted the acquisition because of the concept of vertical integration. In essence, they could own the fragrance making business that they required in their own products. But in the end, they had no idea, and Keith's drawl made it sound more like idea, if you're from the South. I know I'm butchering that, which was so much more pleasant on my ear. But in the end, they had no idea how to manage a chemical plant, and it didn't work. Avon had to spin Mallinckrodt back out to save themselves, which made Mallinckrodt independent again. I've always been a value buyer, and this was a very clear example of why. "What do you mean a vertical integration?" I asked. And Keith responded with, "Well, a perfect vertical integration for my money would be we own the mine, the refinery, the company that makes the converter, the exhaust company, the car manufacturer, and the distributor." So it's vertically integrated all the way from production to end consumer. You would own from the raw material all the way to the end product and consumer. Of course, in real life, this doesn't happen very often, but if you can get close, it's magical. As Keith warmed to his dual subject matter expertise on both chemistry and economics, his subtle Southern drawl expanded as he continued. But in real life, it doesn't always work out that way. You can own a bunch of the pieces, but only if you don't lose your mind and overpay for stuff. Inwardly, I sighed, for I could listen to this silky hybrid of speech for a long time. I loved hearing these complex MBA concepts boiled down into succinct, simple definitions in Keith's soft, sexy, spellbinding dialect. I kicked myself again for going to that small liberal arts college for my desired business degree, when I was unsure that my academic and religious family would be that supportive of pursuing a career in business. But back to the abstract theories being birthed into more visual pictures before my eyes, and I was hungry for more. So the end little motto at the end of this chapter was, "Don't pay a stupid price. It can kill you." So that's the little business principle out of Love and Taxes today. And I was going to kind of pull that theme through this show today on April 5th, 2021. And I'm going to tie it into a house that I've talked about in my first episode on April 1st. I think this is the best value in America if you can put together the group or the business purpose from potentially buying it. So this is almost 11 acres, 30 miles approximately on the east side of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's up on a hill. It's about 900 feet elevation. It's close to 11 acres, and the asking price is $4.25 million. Now, right now, I'm sitting in southern Florida, near the town of Palm Beach, and houses are selling, out of crazy from people around the world, people fleeing California and New York and Massachusetts in particular, and Connecticut. And people are coming down a house that was like $10 million a year ago is now like $25 million. and they're like tiny little lots. There's nothing like 1 acre or anything. It's like a quarter of an acre or half of an acre at the most. So in this particular case, this is like not buying at a stupid price, because what you could do with this property, it's for the golfers out there. For example, there's a couple famous golf clubs around there. Laurel Valley Golf Club, which was Arnold Palmer's home course, hosted a bunch of pro stuff. There's a lot of corporate events done at Laurel Valley today. And then there's Oakmont, which is the famous one for the US Open. Has been there a few times. It's near Pittsburgh. So I kind of view private clubs like this would be like a cool annex property where you could do, for a business purpose, you could end up putting in like little putting greens, and this, there's places for already, there's a bar in this house. Why am I talking about this house? But because this is one of my clients, and I have clients from all walks of life, from on unemployment all the way up to people that own houses like this. So they're ready to start and move their life out of the area as their kids are grown up and their business models changing themselves. So we help them by marketing this house with a book. So when you can match up tax to buying at the right price and maximizing a future benefit, that is magic in my mind. So one of the things we did for, you can find this on my website and Barnes & Noble and Amazon, is if you're interested in kind of coming up with a super cool luxury hotel private club thing for this property, there you can basically view the whole property with this book, 250 pages, just by ordering it. And you can always contact me through my website, and I can get you a copy ASAP, send you a complimentary copy if you guys are serious. Okay, so that's enough about, I think, putting the home, don't buy something at a stupid price. Now we're going to go at the opposite end, and we're going to do a little, we're going to do a little bit of what happens if you lost everything during COVID, like millions of people did, and you're trying to recover. So I'm going to use Florida as an example. I have a couple contractors I work with that are helping people with these applications. I personally am not, in that I'm doing too many other things, but a couple of my team members are pretty expert in this now. So you can contact me through my website if you're looking for some assistance how to do this. But this money is federal money, pandemic unemployment assistance, PUA. It was given from the feds to all the states, and the states' websites were horrendous, and basically, they didn't work, as many of you know, and they did a terrible job, in my opinion, of helping people access this money. So if you did not get state unemployment, and I've tried to help people last year get state unemployment, and for whatever bureaucratic nonsense reason, they weren't allowed to access it, this is eligible for you. So one of the things you need to be aware of is you can go, if you have gotten no unemployment or your state ran out at some point, you can go through all these little fine detailed rules yourself if you're trying to do it yourself. And you can actually retroactively get a lump sum for all of the weeks that you did not get unemployment. And then you can re-up for every week and get the maximum. I think it's 39 weeks here. So again, look at your state, wherever you're a resident in, and you have to apply at that state. So each one's a little bit different, and none of them are great bureaucrats. So I'll just say that when it comes to this program. All right, I'll stop beating on them. Now, the other thing, we talked about my Mudra course yesterday, and what I'm going to do, so you can buy that one Mudra course, just one off, and it's $11 or 12 Mudras. I also have a monthly subscription of this $37 a month that you can access all of my videos, which includes the QuickBooks Online tools, how to use that. I'm actually going to incorporate, because there's so much technical information in each one of these shows that I'm doing. I'm doing these for free, but they're not aggregated anywhere. It's like harder to find them. So I'm also going to put them in here too. So you can end up, if you do the monthly bundle, you'll get more than that. This, I know I have a pretty detailed one on identity theft and fraud about what happens when someone, what do you do practically there? So that's useful as well. Okay, so this Endeavor University is on a Thinkific is the technology platform that I plugged it into, and you can see my little cute watercolor up there in the corner, which think outside the box. So the box is open-ended is the symbol there. And it's also a little E for Endeavor, if you can see that, the top, the middle, and the bottom. And it's also E for Erica Elliott. So I like that. I also have this embedded on my website, so you can find it that way. And you can get the monthly subscription. So you have a couple ways of accessing that. Now, my coursework is very low priced relative to some of my peers because mine is not robust yet. I'm still working on developing and filling in my platform. And one of the people that inspired me to do that is Michael Jaco, Jaco, that many of you have followed on YouTube. And through his website, this is his website, Unleashing Intuition, which also is a theme for today's show. I started watching Michael randomly on YouTube when we were all locked in. Sorry, that's my husband's phone ringing. Wait for that to pause. I forgot to put him on vibrate. But Michael Jaco is also working with Jay Campbell on the Optimized Tribe, which I'm a subscribing member to. So the more time I've spent in there, inside of that subscription model that they run on the Optimized Tribe, they can talk about things that YouTube and other platforms don't allow them to. So you can access people that are like banned from, which is great. Like, how are we even here? I don't know, but I really enjoy that you can be inside of this group and you can interact with each other and get connected with the people that you might not be able to find on your own anymore. So in Michael's case, you can see his pricing is a lot higher than mine because he's been doing his coursework for years. So he is a 26-year Navy SEAL and I think 12 years in CIA, and he's been retired for a bit. He really focuses on I'm reading his book. He has a couple of books. He did the bodybuilding stuff at some point. So if you're looking how to do that 21-day lean down, you can, which I haven't done that course, you could buy just that one course. So you can see he's on a teachable platform. So for those of you out here, we're all being true to ourselves. And when we use our own intuition, we end up becoming more powerful versions of ourselves. And then what does that mean? It means that we're helping humanity and we're serving humanity because we're sharing our skills and our knowledge with others that are around us and coming behind us. So you can see all of his courses together. He's now selling, and I've seen this go up. It was around 1,000 about 6 months ago. And as he got a bigger and bigger presence and put more out there, he's now up to $3,000, almost $3,000. But you can start small with this and do one and figure out, what works for you. So when we're going to finish with a mudra today about how to unleash your intuition and finding your intuitive voice. So there's many ways to do that, and you can use Michael's tools to do that yourself. Okay, so next page, I'm going to do, I think, oh yeah, this is, I want to show you, I don't have this up yet. I'm wearing this jacket today, actually. I haven't really talked about art yet today. So I bought used jeans, and I call this my Painted on Jeans collection. So I haven't put my Painted on Jeans collection up into my Shopify store yet, but it's going to be on here on my shop. And my Shopify store, instead of having to remember all these different places, I basically use my website, the ericaswensonelliott.com website. You can see in the upper right-hand corner there is shop. So that's the Shopify store I have plugged in. So you can just come here and find the Mudra videos or the Endeavor coursework And then you can also click through into the shop. So I'm going to end up adding that the paint on jeans. I'm not going to do commission ones because I don't want someone sending me their favorite jean jacket and then they don't like the original art that I put on it. And then you're kind of stuck with it. So that's not gonna, we're not gonna do it that way. But as I feel inspired, I'll end up doing. You can see that this is like textile paint, and like this one was a Forever 21 jacket. This is, I think, my daughter. This is my daughter's size. This is like a small. This is a US size small. Okay, and then with the t-shirts, I'm like kind of obsessed with these rash guards. I really like it, which is what I have on today. And this is the one I'm featuring today is unmasked. So even if you have to walk around with a mask on, you can kind of get your message across by wearing the unmasked while you're masked. And that's kind of a paradox, I know, but at least it's kind of jarring. You can kind of see what reaction you get. And then today I'm wearing Urban Monk, which I find hilarious. And see if I can find this in this store, you can see it better. This was, oh my word, was an expression I said all the time when I was a little kid. I did the umbrellas yesterday. And here's Urban Monk right here. Okay, so you can see that. I also do like the little quotas collection, which like a quota, that quote, and there's like the website names in case you wear it out. You can always get another one, but this is actually a really nice quality. It's what I've washed it a few times already and is excellent. Stains coming out of it. I like the long torso, so that's positive as well. And it's UPF for you fair-skinned people out there like my sweetheart. It's 38 to 40 protection from sun. So if you're out there on boating and stuff, it's a good one too. So, okay. So that is their time for our little art comment today. I want it for our tech talk segment. We've done elegant turf with the house. We've done our tax minute with the PUA for the federal unemployment money that's still stuck in the system. And then the tech, I want to talk about this company CyberArk that I'm a user of, and I'm not getting paid for talking about these other companies. I'm like talking about things that I use as an end consumer, and the only way this channel is supported is by people buying my products and books. So I want to share my knowledge and be helping others who are starting their web-based businesses, because the world is changing, as we know, and no one's going back to the office anytime soon, and the corporate world is kind of dead from what it used to be. So if you're trying to secure your own business, this is the platform that I use. CyberArk is its new name. It used to be called Practice Protect. So you can come to their website right here, and it's a reasonable fee. It was originally being marketed to, I came to it, so I might, through my online offshore accounting firm. And so that company, TOA Global, which we'll talk about in another episode, referred me here. So I might be getting some preferred pricing. So you'd have to look at your own pricing for you, but I'm paying, I know, under $100 a month for the subscription. I think it's like $66 to $75 or something. And then this is my portal for my business. So just so you can practically see what it looks like. It becomes an extension up on here. It uses a 2-point authenticator. You have a support person. My support person actually sits in South Africa. And I think the company itself, Practice Protect, which is now rebranding itself as CyberArk, is, I believe, an Australian company, but they're like using people around the world, that are on their team. So my guy, Tommy, who sits in South Africa, helped me plug in all my software. So you can see I use ProConnect Tax Online and QuickBooks Online, Ring Central. We can talk about these other apps about why and what I use. All your banking apps, you could plug into here when I am doing work on state websites. I have them plugged in for clients. I help clients with some of their investment so all of these things. are plugged into this secure company. So they are keeping all the bad guys out and watching upon my behalf. And they use the 2-point authentication. So you have to get like your little phone out and like type in the 6-digit thing. So, but once you get it on, it's on for 10 or 12 hours. It can also work on your phones. So I really appreciate that because I work with taking care of a lot of people. So I want to make sure I'm secure because as a CPA, we're all attacked by the hackers, the black hat hackers out there. So I really value having CyberArk Practice Protect on my side. Okay, so I think I covered pretty much everything. We talked about the don't pay a stupid price. Okay, and the last thing, I'm going to come back to that intuition, unleashing your intuition. I'm going to use we're going to do Sabrina's Mudra for evoking your intuitive voice, which you can find in her book right here on page 179. And before we finish on that meditative point, I want to go through my show's partners. So again, you can find me at ericaswensonelliott.com, and I'd like to run my acknowledgements because the show would not be possible without the hard work and support of all of these friends that work with me. So Shannon Putt, you can reach her at her website. She's my marketing director and agent. She helps me with a lot of the shop marketing as well and design ideas. Navarro at Maximum Leverage Solutions, Max Lev Solutions. He fixes everything that I break and he connects everything for me. He actually helped me get Practice Protect connected with the Google Suite, which was like too painful for me to figure out. Things like that. He's like, I call him the techno genius. And then this brand, BizBooks Expert, is my accounting side, and I'm really not taking a lot of new clients anymore. I'm more creating a digital tax technology library of resources for people to buy in course form. So that way I can reach more people with my 32 years of experience and instead of like one person at a time. And I always give a shout out to Arnel Milios. He is my senior accountant, works with me full time. He's a Filipino CPA. And he's also a watercolor artist like myself. And that's his YouTube channel. So you can watch him. He's like real deal watercolor. Beautiful. One day I'll put up he did a beautiful portrait of my family. And I'll end up putting that up so you guys can see his commission work. So I don't do commission. I can only do what's in my head. I can't do the commission stuff like Arnel does. And then you can see him paint a watercolor on his channel. And then Arnica Press is my publisher, all the books that we talked about today. She's amazing. Makes them beautiful. So she takes my original art that we saw but she turns it into a professional looking cover. And then Sabrina is my Mudra teacher, and I did her 6 levels of courses. So on her website, you can see her courses available and you can buy her books. She's a New York Times bestselling author, and she has 24 books, I think, out there. So besides her digital coursework. So when you buy any of my books, digital content, art, or any original products, you are supporting all of my acknowledged participating partners and subcontractors. Okay, so we're going to finish with our mudra. Come back here. Okay, and this mudra is evoking your intuitive voice. So we're going to sit with a straight back, keep your shoulders down, nice and relaxed. We're going to let me make sure we get our fingers right. We're going to intertwine all of our fingers, including our thumbs, and keep our index fingers pointing upwards to the sky. So this one, we're going to keep our elbows up, make sure I'm not missing anything. We're going to hold out our throat level with outstretched index fingers in front, but not touching your lips. Index fingers point up towards the sky and thumbs are crossed. We're going to hold this for 3 minutes, is what, if you're doing this at home. This is a new one to me. I just did this one for the first time this morning. This one, you're going to do a long, deep, slow breath through your nose. You're first starting these mudra practices, which is yoga for your hands. You can set your timer on your phone or on a little clock for 3 minutes, is at minimum, like kind of get your body's energy lines to accept the reharmonization of your own energetic field. If you're going to do a mantra, you could do Om, which is God in his absolute state. And you could also say, I call on my intuition. So if you think about when you use our intuition, you are accessing your inner knowing, your inner still small voice. And when you do that, you don't need the book knowledge. You don't need the book smarts. You intuitively know. And I'm going to circle back to the beginning of this show when we're talking about Jayco's website, Unleashing Intuition. One of the things in his many videos that he talks about is how many lives he saved when he was in combat zones by practicing intuition, and how he wouldn't go down certain fields and certain streets and then a mine would explode there. So countless times he saved himself and his team by accessing his intuition. So if he can do that on the battlefield, we can certainly practice that in our daily life, which is often a battlefield, different kind of battlefield. Some of you are consider yourselves on the digital battlefield. So when we practice light, love, and intuition, love is the greatest power of all. Love conquers all. So when we use mudras, we're accessing that inner power. And that is all we have for today. So don't forget to listen to your still small voice, and don't forget, don't ever pay a stupid price. That's it. All right, I'm going to figure out how to turn this thing off. Bye.